prelazimo na sljedeću kategoriju. Moram priznati da je ovo omiljena kategorija. Elite žene.
Welcome to Belgrade, Serbia for the 2024 Belgrade Games. My name is B.Friendly and we'll be bringing you the action from inside the Ranko Zaravica Sports Hall throughout the next 3 days, as we have a huge contingent of athletes in many divisions competing, and this year all of them are doing so in memory of Lazar Jukic. It's going to be an emotional weekend, it's going to be an intense weekend, but it's also going to be a weekend full of pretty high-level competitors and competition. The women are going to start things off today. We're going to have 2 heats of elite women, and this stream will only be for those 2 heats. And then we'll have a few heats from some other divisions before the elite men come and take the floor. So you'll have 4 streams today: elite women, event 1; elite men, event 1; elite women, event 2; and elite men, event 2. Athletes were seated prior to getting here. A few athletes have not showed up, as is often the case with these competitions. So we have 5 women in this first heat, and you can see the workout that they're taking on there. It's a monostructural chipper to start things off here on Friday afternoon. 2,200 meters on the C2 bikes, 150 double unders, 1,100 meters on the rower, 150 double unders, and 500 meters ski to finish it off. They're gonna have 15 minutes to get it done. So it's a chipper, easy to follow. Everything will progress forward down the floor. They'll have to bring their jump rope with them as they move either to the rower or past the rower. And we'll give a chance to have plenty of chance to talk about the women in this heat here. 1 minute to the start time. Again, one more heat of elite women coming up afterwards. It's a 12-lane race here inside the sports hall. I believe there are 12 total women in the division, so it's possible we'll be down to 1 heat for tomorrow. We'll reseed, of course, all the divisions for tomorrow. Give you some details about the athletes as we go, but we have Camilla Solomonson-Helman out here in lane number 1 representing Sweden. Anna Molin out of Slovenia will be in lane number 3. Maja Laloš out of Germany will be in lane number 4. Madeline Persson, Sweden as well, will be down in lane number 7. And Julia Blażejowska out of Poland will be in lane 8, 10 seconds to the start. Stand by. So event 1 underway for the elite women here. Heat number 1, 2,200 meters on the bike, are going to give us a chance to talk about some of the athletes. Julia is closest to us on the screen here. She actually was the fittest woman in Poland this year in the Open, placing ahead of Gabby Migawa for the first time in her career. She's only 23 years old, and I believe, I haven't had a chance to ask her yet, but I believe she will get a backfill invite to Dubai after Gabby obviously will have to withdraw. I'm sure Gabby being someone she's looked up to in the sport. She does have 3 individual semifinals appearances. Excuse me. That's not right. Sorry. But Julia she competed in the Rhine, the double trouble a couple weeks ago with Branislav Lenkovic. Will be in the men's field. Saw her compete last year at the Pamplona Games in Spain. She does plenty of competitions around Europe. Madeline Persson, you may recognize that name. It's because she was 17th 2 years ago at the European semifinal. She was second in event 1 that year, which had a lot of machine work, some running, and some sled pulling. Got a longer one to start things out today, so we'll see how Madeline goes. She had surgery last April and is just getting back into competition. Had a chance to talk with both her and her coach, and this is a pretty good opportunity for them to get a check-in and see both where the rehab's at and where the fitness is at as it heads into potentially some more competition throughout the off-season. Maja Laloš, youngest woman in the field there, 20 years old. She recently competed at the German Throwdown where she took 13th. The girlfriend of Victor Hoffer, if you recognize her. It was very cool to get a chance to see her in competition this weekend. Not entirely sure where her or Hannah Mullen, who's on the left side of the screen there, 28-year-old from Slovenia, will stack up against this heat. But Hannah has been in the top 3 in Slovenia in the last 3 years. So 2 of the more unknowns in the field, and as you see when we get the rest of the women out here for the final heat, it'll be a great heat of women for them to test themselves against this weekend. And Camilla Solomon-Hellman, 3-time individual CrossFit Games athlete, 1 time on his team way back in 2016. She's been to semifinals twice, and she only missed out on semifinals this year due to a penalty on quarterfinals of that one, which happened to many athletes, as you guys will know. She's a mom now. She's a TV star in Sweden, having competed in a reality TV show there. And I think that she would have done quite well at semis this year if she had gotten a chance to compete. She had gotten 11th last year in Dubai, kind of making her way back after pregnancy. And her scores, other than the penalty workout, were quite good in quarterfinals for the women. 46, 36, and 5th. That 5th coming on. The cleaners were good at the end of quarterfinals. We got hand up for Persson. I don't see a hand up for anyone else yet. So Persson, well, and the hand goes down, so maybe an early hand there for the judge. About 3 minutes and 40 seconds into this one. Now the hand goes up, and at the same time, Solomon-Hellman, that makes a little bit more sense there. Again, 2,200 meters. Lazardowska's judge, his hand goes up in the air, and Molan as well. So most of the women in the heat are closing in on the first transition here in event 1. Move forward for 150 double unders. And Maya Lalosh has a hand up as well. And there goes Persson and Solomon-Hellman, both women moving forward with urgency, so the Swedes are out early here. So you're probably going to get about a 15 to 20 rep advantage there over Julia and then Hannah.
Good friend.
150 double unders, nothing fancy about the ropes here. $150 double unders with no drag ropes, nothing heavy here. And for these athletes, they'll all have done sets of this size before, and I think that they'll be trying to do that. Most of the athletes in this caliber can do that and breathe or relax through them. Often what you're looking for here is just the shoulder position to be relaxed, and I would say Julia looking pretty solid there. Madeline as well, she's got a hand up from her judge, and so she's going to move forward. I don't believe she missed any. Camilla, neither. Both women are going to move forward and drop the rope in front of them before heading back to the rower. 1,100 meters on the row here. The women most likely in the neighborhood of 4 minutes on the row.
Alright, so we can see Julia.
About a 25-meter difference here between Julia and Madeline, excuse me. So both women kind of hovering in the mid-150s for the 500 pace. Curious to see if that'll taper off towards the 2-minute or not. A couple of the women that I spoke to about this workout did say that they're not afraid to black out, as one of them told me in this workout today. So they'll be going for it. Maya has made her way to the rower. She's on about 60 meters, about 50 meters between Hannah. Maya made up a lot of ground on her on the double unders there. Again, both women in the 150s at this point. Let's check in on Camilla. She's approaching 300 meters there at the minute 10-second mark, and about a 155 pace for her as well.
8 minutes left.
Representing all the Scandinavian flags there. Norway, Finland. Sweden and Denmark.
It's going to be Alvin over here, taking number 1 in the lead so far at about 50 meters.
Still holding strong at about that 156 pace. She's going to be getting to 400 meters there.
They are reaching that
Just past the 270 mark for Hannah. Her and Maya are pretty even here.
And also there you can see Maya in them.
Stroke rate a little different, however. Hannah's over 30 strokes per minute. Maya with a little bit steadier pace at 27, getting more bang for her buck on every pull. Nice long drive before finishing with the upper body for Maya there on the left. Pedersen 550. Julia's about 530 now. It's about a 30-meter difference here between the two of them. We're expecting Camilla and Madeline to be the first ones off. Camilla seems to be holding a slightly faster pace. Maybe 10 or 20 meter difference. Hard to tell with them across the floor like this. Julia's drifting back towards that 2-minute mark. About a 156, 157 pace for Madeline.
So by about 20 minutes. So you're currently leader.
She's going to be closing in on the 700 meter there. Joe, Tula on the mic here is telling me it's about 20-meter difference between Pedersen and Salomonsson Hellman. That's 750 right there for Pedersen. 600 for Lalo. 620 for Hannah Mullen. So she's opened up a little lead. And 780 now for Salomonsson Hellman. So in the time that I walked over here, really difficult to tell. Yeah, the two women are going to be very close going to that second set of double unders. Again, it will be 150 for them. 6 minutes of the time cap, not going to be an issue. Hand goes up for Hellman and Pedersen at the same time. We're going to, I think that's at the 250 mark. We're going to drift to the side so we can watch the transition. Hand is now up for Blazowska as well.
All right, so one more minute to get in here. Looks like we can have this for 150 meters to go.
Looks like Pedersen actually has the advantage by about 3 or 4 seconds there over Salomonsson Hellman.
150 double unders.
Camilla looking down the floor there, hearing Joe and recognizing that she's pretty close with Madeline here. And plenty of Swedish women that have made a mark on this sport over the years. Madeline and Camilla certainly will be familiar with each other. A little bit faster on the transition there for Madeline. About 15 double unders before Camilla gets going. Camilla's probably going to have about 10 or 12 of her own before Julia. So maybe a 12 to 15 rep separation, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. A trip there for Camilla will allow Julia to close that by about 5 reps. 10.5 minutes on the clock right now, 15 minutes to the time cap. The last part of this trip is a 500-meter ski erg. Here comes Hannah Mullen. And up for Maya Lalo, so she stays about 20 seconds behind her. Now Maya made up some ground on Hannah on the last second jump rope, but unlike the rest of the women, she left her jump rope behind. So that'll cost her a few seconds there in the transition. All 5 women in Heat 1 on the double unders here, but certainly spaced out in terms of the reps. Still no hands up from the judges.
They will continue on to this.
Looking for Madeline Pedersen likely to be the first athlete to have that hand up. No misses yet for Madeline or Julia. And now Madeline does trip. Camilla takes a break. Hannah and Maya rest. So Julia Blazowska with an opportunity here to be the only athlete in the heat to do both sets of double unders unbroken and potentially capitalize on that. Spoke to a friend of mine who's quite proficient on the machines, and he had mentioned to me that the big variable on this for athletes like him could be the double under. And here we go, it's actually Camilla, and now Madeline, and then Julia, and it's going to be just a assault of this skier. You notice that the handles here are staged low for the women, which I actually really love that, so that there's not a problem in terms of reaching them. Camilla pausing to adjust her damper setting there. Hannah and Maya, both on the double unders there. Just keep an eye on them, but it's going to be a 3-woman race to the finish here. Pulling just under 2 minutes is Julia. She's at about 150 meters. 170 there for Madeline. She's also right underneath that 2-minute pace.
He's digging deep. As we hit for 2.5 minutes left, that finish 2.5 minutes.
Camilla pulling about a 155. She's at the 240 mark. So her pace is faster. The hand goes up first for Camilla. So she's got 250 meters to go. Harrison's hand up is in the air. I think we're gonna have to get back to the other side here. Even though it looks like Camilla's likely gonna win, it'll be the best way for us to see all 3 women and when they get across. The other 2 women are still on the double unders. Final 300 meters for all 3 of these women. Far side of the floor, judge's hand drops to 2 for Camilla. We're at the 13:20 mark. Anna Molin now on the ski erg. Maya Lalosh with a few double unders to go. Last 100 meters for Salmonson Hellman. Last 100 meters for Pearson. Last 100 for Julia. Salmonson Hellman, 13:38. Pearson, 13:45. 13:50. One minute to the time cap, so 13:38, 13:42, 13:50, unofficial 3 times there for Camilla Salmonson-Hellman, Madeline Pearson, and Julia Blazowska, respectively. Maya's pulling just sub 2-minute pace there. She's got 140 meters gone. Anna Molin ripping on this at about a 155 pace. She's got about 150 meters to go. 25 seconds to the time cap. So she's gonna be real close to getting this here. 15 seconds to go, 100 meters for her. Still pulling about a 156. Maya's pace falling off a little bit here. Last 5 seconds.
3, 2, 1.
So Molin's gonna come up
Give it up for your learnings.
about 26 meters short. It's meters when the buzzer sounds and the next seat of women are already walking onto the floor. So 13:38 for Salmonson-Hellman. Time we're looking at there. 13:42 and 13:50. Other 2 finishing times. We have an international heat here and some of the fittest women in their countries that are getting ready to take on event number 1 at Belgrade Games 2024. See the workout there. 2,200 meters on the bike erg, 150 dubs, 1,100 meters on the row, 150 dubs, 500 meters on the ski erg. 1 minute to the start. It's the first of 6 events here at Belgrade Games 2024. We're in Belgrade, Serbia. This is the Ranko Zeravica Sports Hall. This will be the last heat for this stream. We have a few other divisions that will happen, and then we'll go live again on a separate stream for the men. First heat of men is set to start at 14:39, 2:39 local time, 6 hours ahead of the East Coast if you're in the United States watching. And the women are all just setting their dampers there and running back to the start line, making some adjustments to their seat. Ten seconds to the start.
Stand by. Good.
Heat 2, Event 1, Elite Women underway here. We got Natalie Biberica out of Croatia, 26 years old, second finish in Croatia this year. Pretty solid across the board in the events I've seen her compete in. It's just the gymnastics that kind of holds her back. She was 132nd in quarters this year. She won the Eurasia Throwdown last year, and the two best events there came on the 5K row, 1937, and on the ski erg sprint, which we have in the finish here. So Biberica may actually be one to watch in this opening heat, or this opening event rather. Syria Meha, fittest in Albania the last 3 years. She's only 25. She's been climbing the ranks in Europe, finished 32nd in the quarterfinals and 31st in the semifinals this year. Over the last 3 seasons, she's gone from 748 to 343 to 32nd in Europe in the quarters. She's been on a tear competing recently, and one of the athletes that she competed against in Serbia a couple of weeks ago is also in this heat. Syria was able to win Fort Fight, and we'll get to Kristina Vasic in a minute. Jacqueline Dahlstrom here, 32 years old, out of Norway, CrossFit Games veteran, and she's been competing a bit this offseason as well. German Throwdown and Bilbao, 2 of the competitions she's already done in Europe. Had a chance to talk to her a little bit, and she's just getting back into finding joy in her life, balancing out with some other stuff. Recently been taking up horseback riding. So we'll keep our eye on Jacqueline, of course, always will. Next to her, another one of the darlings from Norway, Matilda Oyen Gardenes. Went team this year, but 2-time individual athlete in her own regard. And actually, similar to Camilla Salmonson-Hellman, she probably would have qualified for the individual semifinals in Europe. Not that she would have done them, if not for a penalty on individual event 1. Well, worth mentioning because obviously her team, experience this past year is great, and she won Oslo Throwdown with Henrik Negler, her significant other, a couple weeks ago. But as far as an individual athlete, we haven't seen too much from her recently. So just noting that those other 3 individual quarterfinals performances were pretty good means she absolutely still has it. In terms of recent time, Elisa Pugliano is probably the favorite in this field, 28-year-old from Italy, 3-time CrossFit Games athlete. There's some things that she's just really good at, high skill gymnastics and squatting being amongst them. She's got some impressive performances on the medleys from the games, taking 2nd in inverted medley, 5th in speed skill medley. She was 10th on Helena, 15th on ski bag, and 13th on elevated Elizabeth in the 2 seasons that she competed there. She chose not to compete this year as well at the games. Kristina Vasic here. She's first in Serbia the last 3 years. She was 51st at the semifinals 2 years ago in Germany. And as I mentioned, she went toe-to-toe with Syria Meha a couple of weeks ago here in Serbia, where they were 1st and 2nd on every event. The only female athlete in the field representing Serbia this weekend, and I know that means a lot to her. Got a chance to see her yesterday. We'll probably get a chance to talk to her at some point this weekend. And the last athlete in the field, Or Cohen, 34 years old from Israel. She's been 1st or 2nd in Israel for the last 7 years. She missed the quarterfinals this year. You guessed it, penalty on event 1 after making the semifinals the 3 previous years. She actually made the last chance qualifier a couple years ago, and in 2023 she was 5th place in the Asia semifinals. So amongst her region, she's one of the 10 best over the last 4 years. She competes as well on a little bit in the off-season. We've seen her in Finland the last 2 years in the Turko Tumiopaiva. So a lot of competition experience on this floor. 6 different nations represented. Matilda Oyen Gardenes, the first to move forward. Kristina Vasic right behind her. Here comes Biberica. 1 finger up for Meha and Dahlstrom. Pugliano and Or Cohen lagging behind her on the machines. Not necessarily that surprising. I would say that for both of those athletes, this is likely the least favorable event on paper for them. Dahlstrom with a slight advantage over Syria Meha there. So it's Gardenes, Vasic, Biberica, Dahlstrom, Meha, and now Elisa Pugliano. Or Cohen moving forward to her first set of double unders. And all 7 women into the second part of this 5-part chipper. It's a reminder of what the workout is there. A bike erg done, first set of double unders coming up, 1100 meters on the row in the middle. back to the double unders and finish on that 500-meter ski. Camilla Salmonson-Hellman and Madeline Persson were battling it out in the first heat. Hellman got her by about 4 seconds. All the results that will be official on Circle 21 app, very well organized app that hosts a lot of competitions throughout Europe. You can check them out on Instagram, on their app, or online. But we have 13:38 as the unofficial time for Salmonson-Hellman from that first heat. Persson at 13:42 and Julia Blazowska out of Poland. Oh, and one rep for Kika, and she gets held back there. And that'll allow Bielorussia to go forward at the same time as her. Trying to glance to see where Garnes left her jump rope behind. Everyone else is moving it forward. In the first heat, only Maya Lalosh left the double on the rope behind. And she was at the back of the heat, so maybe trying to gain a little bit of a mental edge getting onto that rower. Garnes, who's out front, will have to take those couple steps backwards and grab her rope after the row. 6 of the 7 athletes are now on the rower, or Cohen on the left side of your, right side of your screen, excuse me, will advance as well, and she's going to leave the rope behind. Here is Bassett. She's pulling a sub 150 now, about 150 maybe averaging at first stroke here at the 200-meter mark, and over 30 strokes per minute. So aggressive pace for her. 156 or so pace here for Giuliano. She's up 150 meters in. Garnes pulling about a 152, 53. She's past the 300-meter mark, chipping towards that 1100. Shifting into that middle 150s range, 154, 155. I would say it's kind of expected average here. That'll put the women right about 4 minutes for this 1100. Garnes holding about a 2-minute pace. Dahlstrom. She just passed the 300-meter mark, almost 100 meters behind Matilda Garnes. She's at 340. Syria Meha just passing the 330 mark, so a pretty close battle there. She's pulling a second or two faster per 500 meters, so she can probably close that maybe 10 to 20 meter gap if they each hold that same pace. And Bielorussia, I know she's excited for this workout. 450 meters gone. She's holding about 157, 158 as well. So the top athletes are approaching halfway on this row, which in terms of the chipper is kind of halfway of the event. They're past that in terms of time, however.
Between Giannis and Vaxic over here, lanes number 7.
Approaching the 8-minute mark. Bielorussia glancing to her left. So she's at about 570 meters. Meha's at 550. 570 for Dahlstrom, so she's holding that slight edge over Meha. Approaching 700 here for Matilda. Garnes 710. Giuliano's at about 590. Now 700 for Bassett, so she's probably 20-30 meters behind Garnes. And 500 meters done for Orr Cohen here, holding about a 205 pace. Hand up for Bassett. There should be a hand up for Garnes at this point. So the judge with the hand in the air is counting hundreds. Matilda's judge is going to be counting 250s. So Bassett's judge made the correction there, so they're counting by 50 meters down. So she's got less than 200 to go. 150 for Garnes, less than 200 for Dahlstrom, same for Bielorussia. 250 to go for Meha, and now also for Giuliano. So Garnes should be within the last 100 meters here. The 930 mark. 50 meters to go for Matilda. 50 to go for Christina. 50 to go for Jacqueline. So 1 and 2 in the heat here. Matilda on the left in the black. Christina taking a little breath there before picking her jump rope up. Natalia Vivorica out of Croatia is going to be next off the row, but she's going to have a couple women right behind her. Juliano's kind of sneaking up, but it's Dahlstrom and Meha. And Juliano's coming now. At least Juliano gave up quite a bit of ground on the bike, but made it up on the jump rope and row with another 150 double unders to go. Let's see if Vivorica's taking a break there. So every point's going to be critical against this field, and if you're an athlete like Elisa Juliano, knows that this long grinding machine workout might not be your best workout of the weekend. If you can steal a couple points there, those could be valuable by the end. And you see Vasic on the right side resting again, kind of shaking out the arms. Meha, Dahlstrom, Garnes, Juliano looking pretty strong on the double unders in the middle of the floor. Don't believe any of the four of them have made a break yet. Or Cohen gets off the row. She'll drop back to get her jump rope, having left it behind as well. Pause for Vivorica. Vasic has settled into a rhythm, and now she takes another break. And up for Matilda, and now Jacqueline. Miscommunication there between Garnes and her judge. Matilda, now she's done. The judge's hand up really late, 13:32, so she'll have to do the 500 in less than 2:05, 2:06. And the way she's pulling on that, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Matilda Garnes looking like she could be set up for an event win to start things off here on Friday in Belgrade. Question's going to be, Jacqueline Dahlstrom makes the pass on Vasic. Not surprising, as Vasic has taken several breaks. Here comes Juliano, so she takes advantage of the proficiency on the jump ropes as well. And now Vasic and Meha move at the same time. 12:02 on the clock. Again, there were 3 women in Heat 1 underneath 14 minutes. So this is going to be tight, and those women from Heat 1 are by no means out of this thing, not just for this workout, but also for the weekend. And Natalia Vivorica is going to need to do some serious work on that ski erg there. Meha pulling about a 2-minute pace. She's approaching 100 meters. Dahlstrom at 160, pulling about a 158. Garnes at 300, she's pulling a 151. Holy cow, Matilda Garnes. Juliano's at the 2-minute pace, approaching 200 meters. She's got about a 20-meter advantage over Vasic, but this is Matilda Garnes all the way. We're at the 13-minute mark. And Matilda Garnes is going to take event 1 here. Matilda Garnes, 13:28. That means we got 10 seconds to go until Solomons and helmets time. 1 finger up for Dahlstrom. She's gonna have to hustle across the finish line. Those cameramen need to get out of the way. So 38, Solomons and helmets gonna take second. Harrison's gonna take third. Dahlstrom at 13:52, so Blažeauska should be fourth. Dahlstrom's going to be fifth. Juliano's going to take sixth at the 14:01 mark. Meha should be sixth in the event, fifth in the heat at 14:06. And Christina Vasic came out of the gate hot. She's going to cruise across the line, 14:14. That should be seventh best out of the 12 women. Vivorica close behind her, 14:20. So it should go Garnes, Solomons and Hellman, Harrison, Blažeauska, then Dahlstrom in fifth, Meha, am I getting that right? Meha sixth, Juliano, Vasic, Vivorica.
10 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1. It's a Belgrade Formula women. And the winner, Matilda.
Hi Matilda, let's go off the floor.
Can I have that?
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
Hi Matilda.
Hi, Brian.
Nice job out there.
Thank you so much.
You've been doing a lot of team competitions the last 12 months. How's it
Yeah.
feel to come out here and do an individual workout and get a win?
Oh, it feels amazing. I have been pretty nervous because it's been a long time since I did individual, like more than a year, at least like a serious competition. So it was really nice just to get started, being back as an individual to get ready for this competition and also for the next season. Yeah.
And kind of a late decision to come here. I think everyone kind of knows there's a lot more going on than just a competition this weekend. But what was the decision for you and Henrik to come down?
The main reason that we are here is for Lazar. So it feels like the most meaningful competition in my career. So I'm so thankful for getting the chance to be here, and even though it may be not fit with like other competitions this year, like Dubai and prepping, it feels so right in my heart to be here, and it feels amazing.
Thank you. Well, great start to the competition weekend. I'm sure we'll talk some more, but we get
Hopefully.
to see Henrik pretty soon.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Matilda.
Thank you, Brian.
So Matilda Garnes will take the win there in event number 1, and I apologize for the waterworks. She's doing that interview and looking right at Lazar there. Event 1 done for the women, and men will be up again 14:39 local time. We'll have 4 heats of men. That's only about 35 minutes from now. Congratulations to Matilda Garnes and also Camilla Salmonson-Elman taking second overall in the event out of heat number 1. It's going to be a tight women's race all the way through, but a good start for both of them. We'll see you guys for the men's heat in about half an hour.